We're outside because I love the vibes out here, but today I just felt like it was extremely necessary to talk about the new releases coming up. Now that spring has begun and summer is on its way, I just feel we need to be aware of everything that's going on. I made myself a little to read for you guys, so buckle in. We have 3 books literally coming out at the beginning of April. Right now, April 1st is literally tomorrow. If I could have this up by then, that would be great. Depending on the day, if you missed release day, you need to go ahead and go. Okay, so these are on April 1st. We're getting Say You'll Remember Me, Abby Jimenez. Swept Away, Beth O'Leary, and If Tomorrow Never Comes, Allison Ashley. Now, for Abby Jimenez, Say You'll Remember Me, let's read the synopsis. There might be no such thing as the perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten. Immediately, yes. That is until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can be the absolute wrong thing. Like, really wrong. Of course, there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong, unless of course he can admit he's made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that her family is in crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only no amount of distance or time is nearly enough to forget that something between them. And the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life, even a love, worth remembering. Shut up, that literally sounds so good. Like, catch me in the store tomorrow. Like, I don't care. Why am I getting teary-eyed? Because I know it's gonna be amazing, because it's Abby. Chill. If you've never read an Abby Jimenez book, this is your sign. Please bust out the catalog and read through it. I'm currently reading Life's Too Short by her, and then I will have completed the Abby Jimenez catalog. I will have read every single one of her books after that one, and that is insane. The next one I'm going to read that's coming out tomorrow, April 1st, Swept Away by Beth O'Leary. What happens if you were lost at sea with your one-night stand? Zeke and Lexi thought it would be a night of fun. They had no intentions of seeing each other again. Zeke is only in town for the weekend to buy back his late father's houseboat. Lexi has no time for dating and needs to help take care of her best friend's daughter. Going back home with a stranger seems like the perfect escape from their problems, but a miscommunication in the dark, foggy night means no one tied the houseboat to the dock. The next morning, Zeke and Lexi realize all they can see is miles and miles of water. With just a few provisions on the boat, Zeke and Lexi must figure out how to get back home. But aside from their survival, they're facing another challenge. Because when you're stuck together for days on end, it gives you a lot of time to get to know someone and fall in love with them. It could be cute. Have you ever heard of the movie Adrift? Came out in 2018. It's called Adrift. It has Shailene Woodley in it, and she is, you know, Divergent, like if you don't know her by name. But literally that movie, when I think back to that movie, if you know, you know. Whenever I first saw the cover for this book, immediately I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I'm kind of scared, but obviously it's going to be like a cheesy romance, so like the danger is kind of taken out of it. Like they're not actually going to be in danger. The last one that's coming out on April 1st is If Tomorrow Never Comes by Allison Ashley, 2 first names. Fate connects 2 people in life-changing ways in deeply romantic and emotional novel about hope and second chances. Uncertain of what tomorrow brings, Elliot decides to live it up on the eve of a stem cell transplant to treat her leukemia. It's destiny when she crosses paths with a handsome and charming Jamie Sullivan. The chemistry is magic, so is a beautiful evening that ends with a bittersweet kiss goodbye and no expectations of ever seeing each other again. 1 year later, Elliot's future looks good. Her cancer is in remission and her career in graphic design is taking off. And she's finally met Carly, the young woman whose stem cell donation gave Elliot a second chance. Then in a twist fate, both blissful and unfair, she meets Carly's boyfriend, and it's Jamie, the man Elliot kissed on her last day on Earth. Neither of them has ever forgotten it, and now the most difficult decision of all lies ahead. You're joking. That is so dramatic. I'm gonna eat that up. Next on the list, it's coming out April 10th, The Twisted Throne by Danielle Jensen. I have read the Bridge Kingdom series, just the first and the second book, the Bridge Kingdom, and then I'm pretty sure it's the Traitor Queen. I did really like those. I read those whenever I was first getting back into reading, my senior year of college, and I really enjoyed them. Really enjoyed them. I have not read the Inadequate Heir and the books that follow that character. I did not read those. I do want to. Now that this is coming out, maybe I will do that, because if you have not seen them, I have the original covers of this book. They just redid them and they are beautiful. They are so pretty. I definitely want to get my greedy little grubby hands on those. As for the plot, a commander who bled to defend her people is haunted by two beliefs: that she failed to protect Ithacanna, that is probably so wrong, her home, basically, from invasion, means leaving it behind forever. Her people are left in ruin, so the wealthy kingdom of Harrendale claims her as its bride for its crown prince. She is prepared to do whatever it takes to gain influence as the future queen and control the gold that comes with the throne. Yet, she swiftly discovers that beneath the beautiful surface of Harrendale's court is a dark underbelly built upon schemes, duplicity, and the pursuit of power. The only individual who holds himself above politics is not her future husband, but his infuriating half-brother, James. As she begins to question whether Harrendale is the ally it claims to be, she finds herself drawn into a forbidden attraction to the wrong prince. As deadly plots tighten around her, she must decide whether saving her people will be achieved as a bride or as a blade. Off the rip, that sounds really interesting, and it makes me not want to read The Inadequate Heir. It makes me not want to read that first, because that, like, I just want to, like, dive in, but I will read them in order. Okay, and then on April 15th, we have Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I have read so far the entire Done and Dusted series. They're just cute little fun books to me. I think I've rated them all around a 3-star range, so like to me they're just like a good fun time. They're not that deep. Camille had always loved a plan. Her latest was her best yet. She was going to get married so that she could secure her daughter's future, get her overbearing parents off her back, and finally start building her own life in the small town of Meadowlark, Wyoming. But when her groom doesn't show up to the wedding, Cam's life is turned upside down and she doesn't even have a place to live. That is until she finds out the house she's loved since high school is available to rent. There's only one problem: the neighbor. Dusty Tucker. Dusty Tucker has spent nearly all of his adult life running from what though? More like who? Cam Ashwood. But ever since he returned home last year, the girl who was his first, well, everything, has become a woman, seemingly determined to keep him at arm's length, and he was okay with that. That's what he kept telling himself. She was getting married after all, but now that she's single and living next door, Dusty wants to show her that they can be friends and that he can stay put, despite her best attempts to stay far away from Dusty Tucker. Cam realizes that being close to him is like slipping on her favorite pair of jeans, easy, comfortable, and that until past wounds start to open and feelings, both old and new, wreak havoc. Nearly 10 years after they first met, Dusty and Cam wonder if their first love can also be their last. And this time, will it be forever? Genuinely, sounds amazing. And now, everyone's favorite baddie, April 22nd. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And because I am just like all the girls, just like all the other girls, I too will be in the Barnes & Nobles April 22nd. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist, still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden is a Pulitzer Prize winning human thundercloud, and they're both on a balmy little crescent island for the same reason: to write the biography of a woman who no one has seen in years, or at least to meet with the octogenarian who claims to be the Margaret Ives, tragic heiress, former tabloid princess, and daughter to one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. When Margaret invites them in both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who will tell her story, there will be 3 things keeping Alice's head in the game. 1. Alice genuinely likes people, which means people usually like Alice, and she has the whole month to win the legendary woman over. 2. She's ready for this job and the chance to impress her unimpressed family with a serious publication. 3. Hayden Anderson, who should have no reason to be concerned about losing this book, is glowering at her in a shake-to-the-core way that suggests he sees her as competition. The problem is, Margaret is only giving one of them pieces of her story. Pieces they can't swap together because of the ironclad NDA and inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room. And it's becoming abundantly clear that their story, just like the tale Margaret's spinning, could be a mystery, tragedy, or a love ballad depending on who's telling it. Like, even the synopsis on her books, they're just pure perfection. She's an amazing, talented writer. At the end of the day, if her books are not for you, that's fine. Like, you do not have to like the plot, but you have to admit that that girl has the writing chops. We're now moving into May. May 6th, My Friends by Frederick Bachman is coming out, and it says, most people don't even notice them. 3 tiny figures sitting at the end of a long pier in the corner of one of the most famous paintings in the world. Most people think it's a depiction of the sea. 25 years earlier, in a distant town, a group of teenagers find refuge from difficult home lives by spending their days laughing and telling stories on the pier. There's Jor, who never backs from a fight, quiet and bookish Ted, who's mourning the loss of his father, Adley, the daughter of a man who never stays in a place for too long, and finally, the artist, a boy who hoards sleeping pills and shuns attention, but who possesses an extraordinary gift that might be his ticket to a better life. These 4 lost souls find each other and give each other a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to dream. Out of that summer emerges a transcendent work of art, a painting that will unexpectedly be put into 18-year-old Eloise's care as she struggles to decide what to do with this. She embarks on a surprise-filled cross-country journey to learn the story of how the painting came to be. The closer she gets to the painting's birthplace, the more she feels compelled to unleash her own artistic spirit, but happy endings don't always take the form we expect. In this fresh testament to the transformative power of friendship and art, that literally sounds so beautiful. I am a big proponent of, I feel like we need more, an ode to friendship. We need more books centered around friendship and how like powerful and impactful they can be. Why am I about to cry? They literally change your life. Like, I've experienced that in my own life. Like, the friendships that you make literally can change you as a person and can change your outlook on life. And I just think that's gonna be beautiful. So now we're moving on to May 20th. We have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick. I am so excited for this book. If you have seen any of my other videos, you understand that I am a Rachel Gillick stan after I read One Dark Window. But I'm literally so excited for this, and I think that the cover is beautiful. I think it is beautiful. The main character though, her name is Sybil. Side tangent. If you've seen Sybil, the movie, if you were required to watch that in high school like I was, traumatizing. Sybil has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. The other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral. Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams, she receives visions from the 6 unearthly figures known as omens. From them, she can predict terrible things before they occur. And the lords and common folk alike travel across the kingdom to learn their futures. Just as she and her sister near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick had no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them, for the outside world is wrought with peril. Only gods have the answers she's seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue. Only a heretic can defeat a god. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited. Next, also coming out on May 20th, we have Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. I read Savor It, which was my first and only Tara DeWitt book, but it was really, hi sweet girl. But it was really good, and after that book, I was like, I really do want to go back and read her books and go through her backlog and stuff. And because of it, I was on the lookout for any new book that she might publish. I'm gonna go ahead and read that synopsis for you guys. To you. I'm reading it to you. Ren and Ellis fell in love as kids, had their son Sam, and when they were only teenagers and built a life in the coastal town of Spruance, Oregon, they were made for one another until they fell apart. Now divorced and in their 30s, Ren runs a bakery in town while Ellis works as a firefighter. They live separate lives, though they are hardly off each other's minds. When Sam gets accepted into college, the pair help him move in together. Ellis convinces Ren to take an extended road trip back to town with him to see if they can give their relationship one last chance. Amid the glorious scenery of the California coastline, dreamy destinations, and a great deal of long yearned for proximity, Ren starts to think it might be possible. But the two have to contend with their tumultuous past in order to move forward, and when spoken words fail, sometimes the written word must bridge the gap. Will they make the most of what's left forever? Or will they let each other go for good? That genuinely, it sounds so good. Like, it, again, these writers know how to write. Like, these writers know how to write. Can you believe that? Okay, now, I have not seen anything about this. I saw the stuff about Ali Hazelwood's Bride. She is writing a second book. She is writing Mate, which will be the second, continuation of Bride, and kind of I guess an interconnected book in that series, just following the best friend. I've seen stuff about that, but I noticed this today whenever I was looking at when that came out. For May 25th, she has Problematic Summer Romance. It doesn't have a cover yet. This is literally what's on Goodreads, and I have seen nothing about this. I've heard nothing about this. But the synopsis and I was looking because I was like, maybe it's a short, because her and Abby Jimenez, they write a lot of those short stories that are 90 to 100-ish pages, and it's just a quick, oh, it's starting to rain, how nice. But it's just a little quick story. I kind of thought it was that, but it said it had around 400 pages, so it looks like we're getting 2 books from her this year. Maya is 23 and still in the process of figuring out her life. Connor is 28 and Maya cannot stop thinking about him. It's such a cliche, it makes her heart implode. Older man and younger woman, successful biotech guy, struggling grad student, brother's best friend, and the girl he never knew existed. As Connor loves to remind her, the power dynamic is too imbalanced. Any relationship between them would be problematic in too many ways to count. And Maya should get over him. After all, he's made it clear that he wants her gone from his life. But everything is as it seems, and as cliches sometimes become plot twists, when Maya's brother decides to get married, she and Connor end up stuck together in a romantic Sicilian villa for over a week. Maya realizes that Connor might have been hiding something for her, and as the destination wedding begins to erupt out of control, she decides that a summer fling might be just what she needs, even if it's a problematic one. That sounds really good. I will read anything that Ali Hazelwood writes. I have loved all of her books, and I don't think I've ever rated one lower than a 4 stars. She is one of my favorite authors, for sure. Next up, we're in June now. We're finally in June. We have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's coming out on June 3rd. This is a part of the celebrity series that she has going on. Before this was It's Coming Down, ASMR. So June 3rd, Atmosphere. Joan Goodwin has been obsessed with stars for as long as she can remember. Thoughtful and reserved, Joan is content with her life as a professor of physics and astronomy at Rice University. That is until she comes across an advertisement seeking the first woman scientist to join NASA's Space Shuttle program. Suddenly, Joan burns to be one of the new people to go to see space. Selected from a pool of 1,000 applicants in the summer of 1980, Joan begins training alongside an exceptional group of candidates. Top Gun pilot Hank Redmond and scientist John Griffin, who are kind and easygoing even when the stakes are at the highest. Mission specialist Lydia Danes, who has worked to play nice, warm-hearted Donna Fitzgerald, who is navigating her own secrets, and Vanessa Ford, the magnetic, mysterious aeronautical engineer who can fix any engine and fly any plane. As new astronauts become unlikely friends, prepare for their first flights, Joan finds a passion and love she never imagined. In this new light, Joan begins to question everything she thinks she knows about her place in the observable universe. It's very intriguing. I've never heard of a book or read a book tackling a similar topic, so I mean, I'm gonna give it a shot. I haven't read Carrie Soto is Back because in my head I was like, when it first came out, I was like, that sounds boring. This rain has got to be so loud. She's a very talented writer, and I do think that I would enjoy that. I would like to read that first, so I don't think I'll necessarily be running to pick this up as soon as it comes out, but I do plan to read it after I read Carrie Soto is Back. I'm gonna go in for the last two. Okay, that rain was insane. It literally came out of nowhere. Last two that I have, and then I have some honorable mentions that I will list off at the end. July 8th, Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. I actually just finished Not in Love by Julie Soto. I gave that 4 stars. I really enjoyed her writing, and I feel like she does, oh, look at my cute new bookmark. How cute. Anyway, but this is actually a fantasy, which I don't believe she's written any other fantasies. When I was looking at other books that she has written, they looked like they were all romances. War is over. The dark forces have won, and the hero who was supposed to save them is dead. Captured as her castle is overrun by the enemy, Brioni knows that the world as she knows it has changed forever. The dark forces have won, and her people, the Eversons, face imminent servitude, imprisonment, or death. Her brother, fated to be the heir twice over and unite the warring kingdoms, is dead. Stripped of her mind magic, her freedom, Brioni, I do not know how to say this name. The girl and the other survivors are quickly auctioned off to the highest bidders in the auction. And as the heir apparent's sister, she fetches the highest price. After fierce bidding war, she is sold to none other than Tavan, a high-ranking Bomard's son. His family is known for their cruel control of heart magic. All is not lost. Help and hope may arise in the most unlikely of places. Okay, that was really a lot for me to read. I'm hoping in the front of that book she has some pronunciation, because I feel like I sounded illiterate reading that. All right, and last on my list, we have, for July 22nd, we have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. She is one of my favorite young adult thriller authors. One of my favorite thriller authors in general, regardless of it being young adult. In 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead. Jet is the daughter of one of the wealthiest families in Woodstock, Vermont. 27 years old, she's still waiting for her life to begin. I'll do it later, she always says. She has time. Until Halloween night, when Jet is violently attacked by an unseen intruder. She suffers a catastrophic head injury. The doctor is certain within a week the injury will trigger a deadly aneurysm. Jet has never thought of herself as having enemies, but now she looks at everyone in a new light. Her family, her former best friend turned sister-in-law, her ex-boyfriend. She has at most 7 days as her condition deteriorates. She has only her childhood friend Billy for help, but nevertheless she's absolutely determined to finally finish something. Jed is going to solve her own murder. Immediately upon reading that, I am intrigued. I think at first when I heard about this, like the fact that she was going to solve her own murder, I kind of thought it was going to be a Groundhog Day thing where she's trying to solve her own murder. But I'm glad it's not, and I'm glad it's a like more interesting take on something like this, like trying to solve your own murder, but not to save your life, to seek justice. And so now I just have honorable mentions. I'm not going to read a synopsis for these. These are books that I'm either not going to read or I haven't started this series yet, but these books are very hyped up. Like I know that they have a dedicated fan base and that people love them. So you might love them. So these are the honorable mentions. Fearless by Lauren Roberts is coming out on April 8th. I have read the first book in this series. I decided not to read the second. It was just not for me, and that's okay. King of Envy by Anna Hong is coming out on April 29th. I have not started any of the King, like that series. I don't exactly, I think it's, what is it? Is it the King of Sins or Sins series? Something, the Sin series. I have not started any of those books. I do plan to read these. I just haven't started them yet. So I have no input on whether or not the series is good or whether or not I like it, but the next one in that series is coming out April 29th. And then we have The Tenant by Frida McFadden coming out May 6th. I don't know if I will read this. I did not like her newest release, the one where it's like her boyfriend or something. Like, I don't know. I started it and I didn't like it. So I just DNF'd it. And then we have With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. I just finished Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. And listen, this one, With a Vengeance, it's supposed to take place on a train, and that kind of got me. I was like, maybe I will try it. But so far, Riley Sager books and me, we just don't agree. I am considering it though. Maybe I'll pick it up, I don't know. And then we have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I loved the 7 Year Slip by her. I started a novel love story and I DNF'd it. It was not for me. And then we have Made for Each Other by Lynn Painter coming out on July 15th. Did I say the Ashley Poston one? June 17th. But Lynn Painter coming out July 15th. A lot of her books are young adult. I typically don't read young adult romance. I tried the Happily Never After book by Lynn Painter. I did not like it. I DNF'd it actually. But this is all the good stuff that's coming out. Whatever you're gonna read first, let me know. What are you most excited for? For me, it's gotta be, of course, Abby Jimenez, like Emily Henry, Rachel Gillig, Ali Hazelwood. If I get 2 books from her, because unpopular, but I loved Bride. I loved Bride. I might do a reread just for me. I might do that. I loved it. Like I eat that crap up. Okay, I've got to go to work. Toodles.